right.
Oh man,
So-
it's been a couple weeks, huh? It's been a few weeks.
It's been like a fucking month, dude.
It's been a month. We took a month break.
Good lord. Well, I have an excuse. You have an excuse. So. And then we both have the excuse of no one's paying us to do this. So fuck everyone.
We can do it whenever and however we want.
Exactly.
This is our thing. This isn't your thing,
I know.
listener.
Yeah. This
Who
has
do you think
nothing
you
to
are?
do with you.
You think you're supporting us?
Hey, we did get one Satoshi from somebody as a tip, so someone's supporting us.
It was a bot. It's probably a bot.
Probably trying to convince us to.
We mentioned a shitcoin and we got something for it. No, we got some listeners. I haven't met any of them.
do.
I don't know who they are, but I'm sure they're out there. Some guy
was like on Twitter. He DM'd me. He's like, because he was like talking a bunch of shit, and then he listened to a couple podcasts. He's like, "All right, I listened to a couple. You said some wrong stuff." I was like, so somebody said something funny, and I love it. The response was, well, okay. Well, why don't you listen to it like 4 or 5 more times and see if it makes sense?
Wait, who said that? What?
So somebody was talking to this podcast or this YouTuber, and he's like, I don't agree with you, but he's like, I totally respect that. Why don't you maybe give it like 4 or 5 more tries and see if it really sticks?
So the podcaster said that?
So I'm using that response now. Anytime
I see.
somebody like says anything, I'm like, that's a valid critique. Why don't you listen like 4 or 5 more times and see if it makes sense to you?
Pretty good. You don't like this song? Just listen to it 10 more times and you might love it.
Yeah.
That's a good way of doing things. But you just need to understand the way we talk, and then you'll probably get what we're
saying. You're not getting it. Once you listen to more episodes, you'll start to understand our rhythm and flow.
We're going to gaslight our audience. I think the problem is with you not understanding us, not that we are wrong.
And all you need to do is give us more clicks, and you'll start to finally understand.
Exactly. Welcome to Keyword Crypto, a podcast. Yes. We are what is it? A healthy dose of skepticism?
Yes. Healthy dose. Not an unhealthy dose. Just the right amount.
Just the right amount. So, I was thinking...
You don't need any sugar with us. We're already sweet enough.
I guess so. I feel like we are bitter, but then again, we just got through 2018, which is pretty rough, so...
And most people like Starbucks, so if they like Starbucks, they'll like us.
Okay. So, I was thinking... like this is a great time right now to discover crypto. Like, I had a friend who sent me an email asking me about where to buy Bitcoin with PayPal. And like, before I can answer that question, like where to buy, because that's kind of a difficult question to answer, like where to buy Bitcoin with PayPal besides local Bitcoins. But I was like, I got really excited because none of my friends had been asking me that. So I like emailed him back, and you know me, Michael, like I sent him like a 3-page email, like talking about buying Bitcoin. Well, I was just so excited that when he emailed me, Bitcoin was like at like $3,500, possibly as low as it's ever going to be ever again. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like I wish I was you discovering Bitcoin for the first time. But this time around, there's a lot more going on, and it's I don't know if it's more fun or it's more interesting, but like I feel like now knowing kind of where the scams are and knowing who to listen to and who definitely not to listen to, it's interesting. I guess it's just interesting being more of a veteran in the space. Because in 2017, if you discovered crypto, you were going to YouTube, you were going to Twitter, you were going anywhere you could to find out information on it. And those were some of the worst places to find out information.
True. Like, we also had just a plethora of ICOs and...
Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, that was the ICO heyday, and then there was Verge and...
I noticed, so I forget, I think it was, I don't know who tweeted this out. So yeah, I mean, if you're new to crypto, a lot of us hang out on Twitter because I don't know, because
We have to.
Because
It's like our job.
It's like that's where we find news, and those are the only people who seem to talk about what we're interested in. I don't know. It's a pretty miserable existence, but we're on Twitter
Yes. It's
at
awful.
keyword crypto. You can find us there. But anyway, someone tweeted out tweeted out something. It was like something about, I think it was the like Shill Nye, the crypto guy, that like total. He's a fucking hack and a scammer, and he's always been one. And for somehow he is now getting put on these conferences as like the lead speaker at events, which is just crazy. Yeah, no, he's like doing events as a speaker now, as a keynote speaker.
It says shill in his name.
Yes, I know. And like, but he was also like in 2017, he like got all these jobs as like the social networking manager for all these ICOs. So now he's got all this quote unquote crypto experience. But
God.
the guy literally he's got a background of all of these scams and frauds that are on the internet. He's like using different names and stuff like that. And so this tweet, I forget who tweeted, it was like, I think it was maybe Josh McGruff or one of those trader guys who's really funny. He said like, it's totally messed up how in this space, like, now you can be a fraud and get like appraisal for what you've done in the space and considered, you've grown the community. And I was thinking,
Donald Trump is the president. Why are you surprised that a guy with the name Shill in his handle is somebody people go to?
Okay, well, I'm not surprised that happened. Like, I'm not surprised that one guy is getting speaker gigs, even though he's a scam artist. But what surprises me, and
Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro.
I'm talking about crypto here. If you're new to the space, this is going to come as a shock. But crypto has become a validator for a lot of scam artists. Like somehow scam artists who have always been scam artists, who have always been con artists, came into crypto. And then all of a sudden, like the most recent thing that they were trying to scam people over turned out to be something that people actually made money with, and it legitimized what they were talking about. And now it's like all of these scam artists are like, yeah, you see, I'm not a scam artist after all because I was right about Bitcoin or whatever. I mean, it's just like, but I can think
Richard Hart.
Well, I was going to mention Richard Hart, but
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, it's okay.
Damn it, Michael!
Think of like Trevon James, a YouTuber, one of the first YouTubers that got really popular, talking about crypto and Bitcoin, and actually made some pretty good content for a while before he went crazy with BitConnect. And then you got like, there's like the I'm thinking of the Korean fund manager guy who's like has like 8 different alter egos on the internet scamming people. But now he's like, now people actually listen to him and retweet him like as if he's got legitimacy. And then there's people like Richard Hart, who is like all of a sudden now calling himself a thought leader in this space. And where the hell did he come from? Like, he came from e-commerce and like online adult toys and shady shit in Panama, and I mean, like, who knows?
And
like
spam and being a spammer.
He was the spam king. And if you look at like some of his old businesses, it's like, yeah, he talks openly about it in some of his interviews. How like he got his start selling car stereos, and like if you look at some like pictures, some of them are like literally like I don't know. I'm not sure if it says Richard's like used car stereo shack or something, but it's like basically like that. It's like it's pretty bad.
Richard's used stolen car stereo shack.
It looked pretty shady. So I tried to get him on our show, right? Yeah. Because he's got a new coin that he's promoting.
Because we want shady people on our show. Like, that's what we're going for.
Well, because what I'm saying is that crypto somehow gave these frauds legitimacy. Like Craig Wright has his own fucking coin and he's calling himself Satoshi, and some people are believing him. And Richard Hart is one person who is creating his own coin, and it's not just that people are giving him legitimacy, it's that what he's creating might actually be legitimate. It might actually do something. I mean,
well, here's the thing about CSV or SV, Bitcoin SV. It is legitimate, but it's like it is actually a coin that has a chain and people can use a wallet on. But that's ultimately meaningless when you have all the lies behind it that go along with it of claiming to be Satoshi and all that. Because it's like, look, I mean, here's the thing. This is what I get on people's cases about Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson is they are presenting actual data when they're making these hateful, vitriolic claims. They're using actual data, but they're cherry picking it. They're pulling it out of studies. And those studies are literally saying the exact opposite. They say, we got this evidence, but then when we did more research, we realized that evidence wasn't pointing to this, it was actually pointing to that. But they don't say that. They pull out that one piece and say, see, here's proof that, poor people should be fucking burned at the stake. It's like,
okay,
and I think that's the thing about Craig is he's saying some stuff that's just believable enough that people who don't have the intellectual capacity to use Google at a deeper level to dig below like 3 layers,
you got to go to a different
they're
website.
They're going to fall for that.
Google on a deeper level is the different website you go to. Google.deeperlevel.com. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is
that's
okay.
my new hashtag is Google Deeper, bitch.
Google Deeper. So Richard Hart, what I think is interesting about Richard Hart is that he's obviously a super intelligent guy, and he's obviously spent a lot of time learning about crypto, and he knows a lot about it, and he probably knows more than most people do, probably more than a lot of developers do, and so his ability to create his own Ethereum token, I mean, he can probably do it, and he can probably do it well. I mean, what makes somebody a good person to develop a currency? Like, maybe somebody who understands what creates value. Maybe somebody who understands the way markets work.
But that's not a currency. That's the problem. And that's what a lot of the crypto Twitter is trying to debate right now is they're like, see, it has this value. And you're like, yeah, but currency isn't supposed to have value beyond the stability of it.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that's something that we can argue about forever on Twitter. I agree with you there. But I mean, the point is that like someone like Richard Hart comes along and he says, I know how to make a cryptocurrency and I can make people want it. I can make it go up in value. That is the goal, right? I'm going to make something go up in value. I'm going to make people want it. And to me, for a person like me, I think like, well, that doesn't really add much to the world except make somebody want something. And so, when I was chatting with him, I was trying to get him on our show because I wanted to give him another opportunity to promote his coin. And also because I thought he'd be a pretty cool person to have on the show because, I don't know, he likes to talk. So do we.
At the very least, he's entertaining.
At the very least, he's totally entertaining. And I would be interesting because like all three of us like to talk and all three of us are very opinionated and think we know what is best. So it would make for a very good conversation. I mean, it's hard.
Polite of you.
Anyway, so I sent him a couple DMs and I was like, I was trying to, I don't know. I think he must have listened to the show or something.
Yeah.
Because what he said was that the socialist...
Michael's an asshole.
No, what he said was that I'll just pull it up right now. What he said was that our socialist goals for our cryptocurrency are impossible without disclosing identity. Those weren't his exact words, but that's pretty close to what he said exactly. It was that you can't hit your socialist distribution without knowing identities, and that is the opposite of crypto. And then so like... So that made sense.
Says the guy who's using a fake name.
Good point. Wow.
that's what I think. Like that's the difference is a lot of these people. That's what I say. Call people pseudo intellectuals.
What's his name? What's his real name?
These kind of statements like that.
His name is like Richard Hunsley or something like that.
Yeah, you're using a fake name, dude.
We won't dox him here. Anyway, so well, I mean, like my response to that was like, well, then if you don't end up with socialist distribution, then you essentially just have a pyramid. That's all you have.
Yes.
And then his answer to that was everything is a pyramid. Your family tree is a pyramid. The internet is a pyramid. A tree of life is a pyramid. Blockchains are a pyramid.
God, dude.
He said the Merkle trees. He said this typing blob of cells I am talking to is also a pyramid. He
Holy
actually called
shit.
me a typing blob of cells, which I thought was pretty darn cool. And
You hear that, people? He just called Bitcoin a pyramid.
yep.
You heard it here first.
But I mean, so he's got a point. Everything is a pyramid. That is the perspective. That is the perspective of the world, of the universe, from a guy who sold sex toys and made millions of dollars on the internet. Of course.
Spamming people. Spamming people.
Spamming people. Right. Yeah, yeah.
Isn't he out of the country because if he comes back, he'll be arrested? Isn't that why he fled to wherever, Panama?
I don't know, but we don't really know that. I have a feeling he's just in some shitty hotel in Florida or something like that.
No. I mean, he was arrested for.
Really?
He owed like. Oh, I mean, I don't remember the exact number, but it was a lot of money because that's against the law, and they caught him, and he was spamming, hundreds of millions of people every single day, and
it's there's definitely an interesting story there. And
you don't spam people to make like 50 cents or something like that. You spam people to make a lot of money and do shady stuff with it.
Yeah. There's probably a really interesting story there, and Richard Hart is probably the bad guy in that story.
Yeah.
When I asked him what does he want then out of a pyramid, his answer was, oh boy, this one was good. He said meritocracy with game theory for aligned outcomes. Meritocracy.
He's just throwing buzzwords together.
Meritocracy is one of those things that I usually associate with the boomer generation, like this sort of like we want a meritocracy and you work hard, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's
rich white people obviously work harder than poor black people and poor Mexicans, and it shows by how much money we have, even though we work less hours.
But if those rich brown people, if those poor brown people and poor black people just worked harder, then they'd have just as much merit. Exactly. Fucking bullshit.
Exactly.
So I have a real problem with this idea of meritocracy. I have a real problem with seeing the universe as a pyramid. Like, I understand. You can look at a fractal and think it's a pyramid, but it's not a fucking pyramid. It's not. It's just because something grows, something that divides, something that I don't know, something that's like saying your family tree is a pyramid. I guess so.
He needs a YouTube partner or a podcast partner who will say, "Richard, you're full of shit."
He probably needs like a wife.
He needs a no man.
He probably needs a girlfriend.
Somebody who's willing to say no to him, because it sounds like he's just surrounding himself with Panama pool boys and
Panama pool boys and strippers.
No, because like when we were talking about him, somebody that we both know who has been on the pod has said, hey, you should be careful with him. He's a shady character, and people have died because of his actions.
Really?
And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, just do more research, do some digging into it, and you'll find out.
Really? So should we not publish this episode? I mean, like...
No, but like I never found anything that linked Richard to somebody dying, but like there's a lot of people out there who don't like him and think he's shady as hell. But
what?
I dig, I Google deeper. I'm a guy who Googles deeper, and I haven't been able to find that. So like I don't want to say like, Richard, I don't mean to throw that out there, but I was more saying it in the lines of like, people say shit And unless they actually back it up with evidence, I don't mind talking about it, but I'm also going to say I don't believe it until somebody actually shows me evidence. You know, I don't like the hearsay type stuff. But there are people out there who do. So he's done shady stuff that I've been able to find out about, and I've heard a lot of rumors that I haven't been able to find out about yet. And so,
yeah. So anyway, if you want to find out more about, if you want to Google deeper, then let us know what you find.
A thing.
I'm
making it a thing.
Probably my favorite crypto podcast is Bitcoin Uncensored with Krista Rose, and he actually, I think he did one of the first YouTube interviews with Richard Hart, where it was kind of interesting to see Richard in the early days of 2017. When
it's like a lifetime ago,
when Richard Hart came into crypto, you think a lot of these old timers have been around since like 2008. No, they kind of popped up around May, June 2017 when the first altcoin bull run happened.
Kind of like when I got in. That's literally exactly when I got in.
Oh man, if you're on Twitter, just go ahead and look at when these people have joined. 100,000 followers to the dog with sunglasses joined in like July 2017. Or like, the guy with the spaceman on the moon joined like January 2018. He's got 200,000 followers or whatever.
Somebody gave us shit because our podcast handle was so young. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, just because we formed the podcast then.
That's really funny. You know what? Like, okay, fair enough. Like, but if, oh man, where do I get started with this shit? There's just so much to talk about that it just pisses me off. Let's start here. So what I was saying about Bitcoin Uncensored, Krista Rose, he actually did a show where he talked to Richard Hart, and it was a pretty flattering interview. Like, they both got along. A couple months later, Chris had another guest on who was somebody who Googled deeper on Richard Hart and found some stuff and found some incriminating stuff, and they talked about it on the air, and I think it actually involved some life-threatening things, but I don't exactly remember what it is, so I'm not going to say them on the air. But yeah, we're not the only ones to say that. Now, the thing is though, when it comes to these kind of frauds and scammers, the alleged frauds and scammers that get legitimized through crypto, the question is, at a certain point, if they do something that, this is the problem with frauds, is like, when do you actually let them back into society as doing something good? Because like, if Richard Hart doesn't seem like he's doing anything wrong right now, I mean, like, he's creating his own crypto. What's so wrong with that?
Well, here's the thing. So if people aren't educated, and unless he's actively going out there educating people on how to get Bitcoin hex.
Well, he is.
I see, every time I hear it, I want to say Bitcoin hex or something like,
yeah.
I don't know, some kind of weird. So so if you don't understand how to do this, you could inadvertently give him all of your Bitcoin. And I'm wondering
really?
if he's like, if only a small fraction of people do it that way, and he's able to collect all their Bitcoin, he could potentially make $1 billion if Bitcoin hit, $500,000.
I see.
If a million people hand him their keys to their wallet to collect the Bitcoin hex, and only 10% of them don't pull off the money first. So here's the thing: when you're collecting a fork or some kind of split like he's doing with Bitcoin hex, you have it in your wallet, and then to collect, you have to type in your keys so they can read that was really yours, so they can then send it to you. But they take a snapshot earlier. And so what you do is, after the snapshot happens, you move all your money off to a different address. You send the keys to that address that is now empty, but during the snapshot actually had the funds in there, and that's where it comes from. And then you move that off, and then you burn that address. You never use it again.
Okay, so that is pretty hard to follow if you're new.
Exactly.
As somebody who was like, what's a private key again?
Exactly.
Like, my coins are just on Coinbase. So yeah.
And that's how he could easily collect, hundreds of millions of dollars if people just didn't notice. If he collected like 100 Bitcoin that way, and Bitcoin got to $500,000, that's fucking huge.
Yeah. You know, you could just like spam a million people, and like even if like 20% of those people actually responded to your spam, you could probably make money off of them.
Yeah. Well, that's how he made money, as a spammer.
Yeah.
So you send out these stupid links, and he's getting, if 1% of them actually click on it, he gets.
That's interesting. I didn't really think of that, but I mean, that may be his MO. Maybe.
I mean he's been guilty of it before.
Okay, so Bitcoin
why
hex.
Wouldn't he be guilty of it now?
Bitcoin spam hex. Bitcoin hex. All right, we cracked that one. So one of the things about this show, keyword crypto, is that Michael and I are searching for truth in the world of crypto and scams and frauds and things that don't work and things that people believe in because they're doped up on hopium. We're looking for answers. And one thing that kind of follows this show around episodically is where we end up that day. You know, for instance, we've pretty much agreed that Bitcoin right now is pretty much a plutocracy. It really is controlled by the miners, and the miners are controlled by the company that makes the mining equipment. I mean, that it comes down to that. And we've recently kind of agreed that Lightning as a second layer solution we don't understand the way it solves all the problems of transaction fees and miner fees in the future. So these are kind of things that we uncover and we kind of carry episode to episode. Wouldn't you say that's how we do it, Michael? I mean,
yeah.
Until we find somebody
keep finding more information and
keep
and
hopefully
asking people and keep getting yelled at and called assholes and stupid and why can't you just understand?
Yeah. So one of the things that we get all the time is like, well, no one's gonna. This is my favorite. No one's gonna answer your question because you don't know how to ask it, or something like that. Or no one cares to answer you, or maybe because no one cares to answer you is a good answer to your question. Why won't anybody answer my question? Maybe because no one cares. Okay.
Yeah,
that does.
Like, and they throw out that Satoshi quote of, "I don't have time to explain it to you." It's like, okay.
No one has time.
And you want everyone in the world to start using your shit that you don't have time to explain about?
Well, that was, I think, a lot of the problem with 2017 and a lot of the quote unquote dumb money that came into the space. It was like so many people came in and were investing in stuff. And when asked why they were investing in stuff, they were like, well, dude, there are people who are way smarter than me telling me to do this, so why should I argue with them? Oh man.
And they're smarter than you, so that means that you're dumb. And you're like, well, how do you don't know them, they're just a person on Twitter, and you don't know me because I'm just a person on Twitter. You literally have no idea who's smarter between the three of us, but you want him to be smarter, him or her to be smarter, so you're just going to listen to them.
So here's the next warning. So when you find somebody, if you're new to crypto, or even if you've been around for a while, I mean, I need to tell myself this all the time because I'll find somebody in the space that I'll look up to, or somebody who knows a lot about Bitcoin or knows a lot about a certain crypto, somebody who knows a lot about the markets or something like that. And you got to remember that everything about these markets is so new. There's not really much legacy. And one of the things that a lot of people will say is, well, of course Bitcoin is going to go back up in price because that's the way it's always happened, or that's the way it's historically been. It's like, well, yeah, historically for the last 10 years, that's it. And so a lot of these people, if you go on Twitter, like the dog with the sunglasses, like seems like he's very knowledgeable about technical analysis and price action and even about mining and stuff like that. And like, if you Google a little deeper, you'll find some stuff that's like, yeah, maybe that guy did promote a pump and dump at one point. Or maybe that crypto rand guy actually did buy all of his followers at the beginning and stuff like that. Like this stuff,
And you got to remember, if these people are 30 and younger, let's just say if they're 28 or younger,
They're stupid.
no,
Just
they
kidding.
weren't an adult. They weren't legally an adult when Bitcoin came out.
That's a good point. That's a good point. They were teenagers. Think about the
so-
teenagers that are in crypto right now going like Verge, Tron,
Yeah.
Verge, right?
And so
Like,
their
oh,
entire adult life has been the entire history of Bitcoin.
Oh man, these douchebags.
So
that
they
are
don't
like,
have any kind of adult experience outside of Bitcoin. So they don't understand how things worked before Bitcoin. And so they don't understand why people have so many questions and so many fears about what is obviously a Ponzi scheme. Because that's
Yeah.
literally what a Ponzi scheme is you have to keep getting more and more people into it for the price to rise.
Yeah, and
Because
therefore,
if you buy high and it goes low, then you lose all your money.
so all of these people who are gathering followers, gathering attention for what they're doing, just think about that for a second. Like, it's in their interest to get as many followers as possible. Like, why? So that they can have influence, so that they can manipulate their followers. Many of them want to be teachers, and that's a great thing. But like, yeah, I don't know. This is why a healthy dose of skepticism is really important.
Yeah,
You just
and,
really
like,
got it.
The difference between JJ and I and those other people are like, those people are trying to make a living off of, and I, you know what, and I hate to say it, but sometimes I got to include Peter in this. Is these people are trying to make, and Peter, you know, he's validly trying to do this.
Peter,
you know,
from
'cause
what
he's got
Bitcoin,
a family,
what Bitcoin did.
but
Yeah.
he is pushing an agenda about Bitcoin being something that's going to change the world. And it's great if you actually think that, but you have to also remember he's trying to make a living off of pushing that narrative.
Totally.
And
And
most
anybody
people
who's
are.
anybody who's doing anything on YouTube or in a podcast is probably doing that to a degree. I think
But
that
I
you're
feel like the difference between them and us is we're saying we enjoy the technology. We think it could be revolutionary, but we're not encouraging people to go out and buy it. I don't think we've ever said go out and buy something.
No, we've
Ever.
never said that. Of course, no, of course not. And the other thing is that one of the reasons that you should probably value listening to us is that, like, we don't care. I mean, like, we haven't even told you to subscribe to this show. Like, we're not like gathering the attention right now.
No, you did say our handle, our Twitter handle, so that technically
Oh yeah, I did.
was
Go check
a
us
little
out
bit of
there.
shilling.
Right. Well, that's Michael's account, not mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like, I'm. My point is that like, when you go on YouTube for anything, whether it's to like fix your car or find out about Bitcoin or whatever, somebody is shilling you something. That's just the way the world. That's the way the internet is built right now.
Yeah.
And so like everybody has a motive. Everybody has an agenda. Everybody wants you to kind of believe something. And I feel like the difference between that and us is that we're not like we have an agenda. Sure, our agenda is to figure out what the fuck's going on with crypto. That's our agenda. We're not trying to get you to believe that we're right or wrong, or that Bitcoin is good or bad, or, you know, I mean, we're going to have our own biases, but I think that's kind of where we stand right now. Who knows if it'll be that way for very long? As soon as we get a sponsor, then we'll have a different agenda, because we're going to need to like somehow pay the bills and like actually.
Like,
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like our agenda is empathy. We're just trying to be empathetic to it because we've experienced this, and we don't want other people to experience the shittiness that was 2018.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
And
I don't want
the
anybody to have to go through that.
or 2017 for that matter. I mean, like, we can talk about how great 2017 was, but it actually wasn't that great for most people in crypto.
It was
Most people
stressful
came
as
too
hell.
late. It was stressful. Most people, like, they had problems with their relationships. They had problems with work. They had, you know, because anytime you can see a new paradigm on the horizon, you think, well, the old paradigm is garbage. I guess I'll
Yeah.
throw it away. And it's like, oh, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. You probably should never do that.
I mean, people saying they sold their houses and were living in their car to buy more crypto at the fucking top.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Holy shit.
I mean, yeah, but that's what happened. I mean, that's the crazy thing. That's what happens. And
And,
then,
and that kind of goes back to the thing is like, how do these people do it? Well, there's always going to be people who don't have the intellectual capacity to see that the snake oil salesman is selling snake oil. There's always going to be like 20 to 30% of the population who doesn't have the capacity to understand that. No matter how many times they fall for it, they never catch it the next time. And that's not because they're bad people. It's because they don't have the intellectual capacity.
Yeah, it's more complicated than that. I think you can boil it down to that, but I think it's more complicated in that when you factor in not just crypto, but the internet and all of this stuff, because a lot of the people who are the snake oil salesmen don't even realize that what they're selling that isn't magic, you know? Like, some people believe their own hype, and that's part of the problem. Is that
that's usually what makes them such good salesmen, though. It's because they believe it.
Yeah, maybe. Or, you know, what they're actually selling is not really the product or commodity. What they're selling is, you know,
a dream.
They're selling a dream, or they're selling some comedy, or they're selling a feeling, or they're selling their conversation, or whatever. I don't really know. Like, what makes you even pay attention to some people on YouTube? It's weird. It's weird what people are selling.
It's also about education. Like, we don't really educate people in America about what's important right now. And it came across, I was reading this article about, there was this thing in magazines where they were putting advertisements and making it look like actual articles in magazines, and they were paid advertisements.
Like fake news, yeah.
But they were creating it to look like an actual article, like a journalistic article. And in like something like 90, I don't know, I'm gonna make up a stat because I don't remember the exact number, but it was something so astronomically high it scared me that the vast majority of kids in school were reading this and didn't know it was a paid advertisement. They thought it was a real article in actual news.
That's been a phenomenon for a long time. I'm pretty sure that there's been fake news for a long time, and especially, I think that's why, you know, there's disclaimers on so many things that actually will say promotion underneath it, and thank God for that sort of little.
Because they have to. And that's the thing. It's like people are like, oh, you know, we don't need all this regulation. It's like, yes, we need this regulation. The reason why people have to legally say paid advertisement on Facebook or on Instagram posts now is because so many people got suckered into buying something, not realizing that the person posting the link was getting paid $500,000 to do it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
they're not using that thing.
Yeah, I mean, in the early days of the internet, there was just so much of that. And sometimes it would just be full on fake, you know, CNBC.com or whatever, like it's not actually CNBC.com, but it actually looks like it. And you go on there and it says something. Yeah, there's just all kinds of shit everywhere. But yeah. So
Google deeper, people. Google deeper.
I guess so. I guess you got to go to googledeeper.com. You got to get a special login for that.
You got to peel the onion. You got to peel the layers. You got to get deeper. You got to find out, because it's very easy, you know. And you also hear about doctors and stuff, and dentists and lawyers who are actually paying companies to hide all the shady shit they've done to fix their reputation. So, this is an entire job now. Is people go on the internet and push that stuff down, and push all the good stuff up. So that way, people who don't Google deeper will never find that really shady stuff that is out there, because the internet doesn't ever go away. Like, it doesn't disappear.
It's like a blockchain.
Well, except unless you're in Europe, and now you have to by law. But in America, this shit doesn't disappear. So that's pretty telling right there.
So if somebody who is like, we just said a bunch of stuff that's going to scare people away from crypto, good.
Don't come. It's bad.
Or just buy some Ethereum, buy some whatever, and just walk away. Come back in a couple of years or something.
Put in like $25 just to experiment, and then just never come back.
So
don't buy 5 coffees.
Like, would I recommend like making it a hobby? No, not really.
No. Fuck.
I really wouldn't.
I really wish I didn't get involved.
Just keep listening to this podcast, and we'll do our best. Oh man, I just shilled us.
Damn it, dude! Come on.
So here's the thing. It's very, very tempting to, it's very tempting to follow what's going on, because anytime there's there is the opportunity to double your money, it's irresistible, right?
Yeah.
And anytime somebody seems like they have an edge that you don't have, and anybody seems like they know something about the markets, or they know something about the way it works. Even us, if you're listening to us and you think, oh, these guys sound intelligent, they were around for the last bull run or whatever, like, oh man, just be really careful, because especially like on something like Twitter where people are doing price calls and stuff like that. I'll tell you how a lot of those accounts work. It's like some guy with an avatar that hides his identity, like some weird animal or something, like I don't know, like
a dog with sunglasses, for instance.
crypto giraffe or dog with sunglasses, right? Okay, so they post a bunch of charts, and then like you see a bunch of their charts where they say, you see this chart I posted like a month ago. You see the price went up after I posted it. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy for them to just post like 30 charts, and then next month they just go through and cherry pick that data and be like, this one went up, this one went up, this one went up. And then most people, when they're in these paid groups and stuff, they think, oh, wow, I found somebody who really knows what cryptos are going to go up, which altcoins are going to moon or whatever. And it's like, that only works for a little while until you realize, oh, I actually lost money because they didn't tell me that they sold their position on whatever. They didn't tell me that like, oh, like they've been telling me about all of every market that went up. Yeah. Okay. I got a notification about that, but anything that actually lost money, they don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a faux pas in the world of price calls. I mean, I would assume like that's kind of like you should actually post your losses too, but most of them probably don't. Like, why would you? Why would you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Most people don't like talking about when they're wrong.
Because they're selling a brand, and you want to sell when you hit. And like, that's what you got to remember. Like, everyone's always showing you their best side, except for me and JJ. We show you our worst side.
I guess so, huh?
I feel like that's one of the reasons why you can kind of trust us, but Google deeper just to play it safe.
You don't need to Google deeper.
We share with you how much money we lost and how many stupid decisions we made, and how fucking dumb we still are sometimes. Like, I still this last week probably lost $1,000 being greedy, not taking profits, getting caught up and getting FOMOing and stuff. Like, and not lost. Like, I was up 100%, and now I'm only up 65% instead, which is still like, holy shit! I'm up $1,000. I'm up 65%.
Yeah.
Since a month ago, but like, I lost that 35% for being greedy and not taking profits and doing this and doing that and jumping in on FOMO trains, and and then I realized, oh shit, and how much money, because I made bad trades, so I immediately jumped out of them, and I realized how much money did I lose just in fucking fees alone. How much money of mine does CZ have now? Because I FOMO'd into something too quickly without like pulling back out to the day chart and looking at the day chart and realizing, oh shit, that's a falling knife. Don't jump in on that. So it's like, this stuff is so hard to do on your own, and that's why I really enjoy making this podcast with JJ's, because we can bounce this shit off of each other. So if you don't have somebody to bounce this stuff off of, and you're just blindly making trades because of some, dog with sunglasses tells you that, whatever looks good, like it's going to pop, like, that's dangerous. You got to have a team. You got to have people you trust to talk to say, hey, whoa. What does the day chart say? And you pull back and you're like, I literally did it today with JJ. I did it with an exchange coin, and I said, hey, I bought this bag. What do you think? And he's like, the day chart, blah, blah, blah. And I pull back to the day chart, and I'm like, fuck. And I immediately sold. And I took a loss.
Well, it's confirmation bias is what it is. It's like when you, like, people, one of the reasons that I don't like to trade is that most people lose money when they're trading because they trade based on what they believe, not what what is actually being shown on a chart or in the price or in the fundamentals or anything like that. They think,
Exactly.
oh, this must be, it looks to me like this is going to go up, so I'm going to buy it. And that's the problem. Is not enough people say, well, what if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
And that is where professional traders, that's where the difference is that every professional trader uses risk management. When every time that they buy something or any time that they go long or short, they're thinking, am I okay with losing 2% in order to make 20%? Am I okay with just letting that go? And I think a lot of people come into crypto because it's so easy to just buy and sell. It's not like buying something on the stock market where you actually need to go through a broker and you need to pay a crazy fee, and then you got to keep track of everything and all this stuff. It's actually way too easy to just buy and sell crypto on the internet. So yes, it's dangerous, and there's a reason that people lose a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Markets, I think, I heard Carter Thomas, Coin Mastery guy, say this one time, and he wasn't the first person to say this, obviously, but maybe it was what's his name, Berkshire Hathaway guy, who said that markets are designed to take money from you, not make you money. They're designed to take money from
poor people and give it to rich people.
Or I was going to say impatient and give it to the patient, but
yeah.
But probably poor people to rich people too. I mean,
rich people have the ability to be a little more patient.
Well, that, and also rich people have the ability to move markets.
Yeah,
and
true.
While you can't manipulate a market technically on the stock market, like crypto, there's nothing keeping you from just going, I'm going to pump this coin all the way up, and then I'm going to sell it, and then I'm going to pump it up, and I'm going to sell it. Like, why not do that? Like,
and
it's an easy way to just take everyone's money.
These early people invested so much time and energy, and they invested so much, by getting into Bitcoin early, and it's like you could mine hundreds of Bitcoins on your laptop back then. They invested literally nothing, maybe like $10 worth of energy back then, and now with 100 Bitcoin or 1,000 Bitcoin, you can move markets and make billions.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's crazy how much power you have, which is that much. If you had gotten in at 2011 or 2010 and were able to mine 500 Bitcoin, you have the power to make so much money now and control these markets.
Yeah, so the only thing you're risking is actually moving that much money around, really.
Exactly.
That's got to be a scary thing. Oh, that's another thing. Actually, we don't actually talk about this on the show because we don't have a lot of money, but the more money that, like, first of all, money is just directly connected to like your dopamine levels, right? When you start making more money, you just feel great. It feels like you're on drugs. But the thing is as crypto goes up and as you see your portfolio start to rise, it makes you more excited, but it also makes you more anxious because you have so much more to lose. And when that happens, you kind of go into this fight or flight, which is it kind of feels, there's euphoria about it, but it's also this kind of panic that you need to protect everything. If you've ever been in a position where you go into full-on loss prevention, that's kind of what it feels like. At least I know that I've been there, not just with crypto, with other things too. Like whenever I start to feel like I've got a lot to lose. And when you have a lot to lose and you don't know the first thing about cybersecurity, it's like, it can be full on panic mode. It's like, learn how to use a hardware wallet now while you don't have a lot to lose.
Learn the tax code if you're an American.
learn the tax code. Learn all of learn all the things that you have time to learn about and that aren't going to make you freak out. Because when the time comes, when the next bubble, if it happens, it's probably going to be pretty big. Might not go to 20,000, it might go to 100,000, but I guarantee you, it's going to last like a day or two. It's going to last a week. It's going to be so fast, and chances are you're not going to be able to deal with it. You're not going to be in a situation. You're not going to be able to take time off of work. Like last year, 2017, it was Christmas Eve when the crash happened, right?
Yeah.
$10,000 came off of Bitcoin. Went from like $19,000 to $10,000 on Christmas Eve. Nobody was even home, right? So like, just you don't realize that pressure is going to be there. So just keep that in mind.
And that's a perfect example of the wealthy being able to control the market. Because there's no way that there's that many people selling. Because like you said, there's nobody there. So the people who had a ton of Bitcoin early on, and it's going to 20,000, they're like, what a great opportunity for us to fucking short the market, because nobody's here. And we have so much, we can actually swing the market.
It's obvious to us now. And at the time, you're just like, holy shit, what the hell is going on? Like, your friends are texting you going like, Bitcoin's shitting the bed. And you start panicking. You see the big red candles and it's like, oh no, what's going on? The world is ending.
Yeah.
For some reason, when you're looking at a chart, I don't know, does this happen to you? Like I feel like TradingView makes the red candles bigger and fatter when they're actually dumping. Like, I don't know if it's actually true, but I feel like they might as well put like a little like flashing signs on them that say like panic, sell. Like, because I swear to God, they're like bigger than the rest of the candles.
I do that so many fucking times, and then I just kick myself afterwards. It's like, stupid. You literally just sold the bottom.
Yeah. That's like I swear, whenever I see like a big red candle, it looks twice as big, and I thought, I've never seen one that big before.
Well, you know why? Is because when you have the big red candle that's falling, it's all red. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, maybe it's the way I have TradingView set up, but when you have the big red candle that's going up, it has the green halo around it, so it doesn't look as scary.
Oh, maybe that's it. Oh, yeah, that might be it. Or it could just be some optical illusion, or whatever.
Well, because technically, when it's falling, there is more red in the candle.
Yes,
because the edges get cut off for the green halo.
I see. Yeah, I know some traders, some experienced traders that just trade grayscale candles,
black and white, yeah,
black and white, or just grayscale, and that's probably pretty smart. I mean, not a bad idea if you don't want to be freaked out by a panic red. Or just change it to like pink or something. I don't know. Yeah. Change it to baby blue. And
blue is calming. Yeah, use a blue candle.
Baby blue and navy blue. Those would be nice colors.
Or change the green candles to red and the red candles to baby blue, and be like, so every time it goes up, you're like, holy shit, it's going up. You get like the freak out panic.
You'd make so much money that way, wouldn't you? You'd
always sell.
You'd panic sell every pump. That's not a bad idea. I mean, if what you're doing right now is losing you money, try the exact opposite.
Yeah, exactly. All right, on that note.
Yeah, I guess we should go then.
So let's not shill our stuff. No, we have to shill. We're keyword crypto. We're on Twitter. You can find us there. We're not really on Facebook. I never go on Facebook anymore. Are you on Facebook, JJ?
I'm on Facebook. I'm not really in our group. Well, yeah. We need to figure out a way that we can communicate with the people who listen to us, because I'm having a real hard time with that.
Okay, so if you're listening, this is an argument JJ and I get in all the time about value, and he feels that if people aren't talking to us who listen to the show, that we're not providing value. So just for JJ's sake, could you please reach out to JJ and just let him know he's doing a good job?
I like feedback. I want to hear from people who listen to the show. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm having a conversation with my friend Michael, which is cool too.
Yeah.
But if you are listening to this for some reason, then that's probably because you're getting value out of it. And let us know about it. Let us know what you like or what you don't like. That would be
Despite
awesome.
what we said in the first few minutes of today's podcast.
Yeah.
We weren't talking to you. We were talking to the other people, not you personally.
We're talking to all those other people.
Yeah.
And we're Richard Hart, you're still welcome to come on the show.
Yes.
Dog with sunglasses, you're welcome to come on the show.
Crypto Dog, we'd love to have you.
The Crypto Dog, that's his name. I'm going to call him Dog with Sunglasses. It's
Dog with sunglasses. Hop on. And if there's a giraffe out there with sunglasses, we'd love to have you on too. We are I'm actually trying to get Brock Pierce on, just because I was like, look, I'm going to talk a ton of shit about you, but like at least I'm going to, unlike Peter, my mind can be changed. And I'm always
Peter's
willing.
mind can be changed. Peter, like I feel like he flip flops on everything, which is great.
He does,
like,
but when I asked him if anything Brock could have said would have changed his mind, he said no. So he was pretty open about that.
What's funny is I think it takes somebody of particular influence to change Peter's mind. You know, it's like he doesn't believe in Ethereum, and then all of a sudden Andreas comes on and says, "Oh, Ethereum's not that bad," and then
he's like, "Okay."
It's like, okay, well, yeah, Andreas changed my mind. It's like that Donald Trump phenomenon. It's like the last person in the room he agrees with. Oh, I'm sorry, Peter. We know you're not that bad.
We know you're not like Donald Trump, Peter.
We like this show. This show, come on the show. Everybody's welcome to come on the show and try to change our minds, because that's what we need. Yes. That's what we're here for.
But we're push malleable. Back. We're skeptics, so just be prepared for that.
Yep.
Okay.
Snake oil. Bye, everyone.
Don't take snake oil. And hey, and Google deeper. Bye.